So, it's back to the dreaded green bubbles for me. I'm Ryan Dawes.
And I'm Josh Lynn.
I've done the unthinkable and switched from iOS to Android.
Yeah, you, Judas. Like, you've been teasing me with this the last few days. I've been waiting to fully get in front of the camera to fully discuss why.
Yeah. So everyone knows that you pay a premium of Apple products.
You do.
There can be an argument for them being worth that extra cost, but there is a time where it just gets a little bit too much.
Yeah, you definitely pay for that Apple brand. And I think over the last few years, they've really reinforced that.
100%. And you get more and more locked into that ecosystem.
Ah, yes.
It's about that sort of time where my Apple devices are starting to creak and I'm looking towards the next generation.
Yeah, fair enough.
We're in a bit of a cost of living crisis at the moment.
Absolutely.
Pretty much everywhere. So
Yeah.
Economics is a big factor, more than ever. And I'm looking at the next generation of the iPhone, which is supposed to increase by about £100.
Okay, yep.
And so I was like, well, would it be that difficult to switch over to Android? I've got the S23 for 700 quid over the next 2 years.
Okay.
For the closest equivalent currently, the iPhone 14 Pro, despite that also being just about to be replaced, I would have been paying 1,200 quid. Instantly becomes pretty hard to justify. Part of the issue with Apple's ecosystem is you get locked into all of their devices as well.
Like your Apple Watch, AirPods, everything else, iPads.
Exactly. And I mean, all of those accessories for me are also coming towards the end. But I've managed to sell all of my Apple accessories, bought all of Samsung's latest devices, which are going to last a lot longer, plus cases and chargers and all of that sort of stuff for 60 quid less. So I managed to get 60 quid back in my bank account after switching to all of the latest generation stuff. Of course, things devalue over time, especially we're on the cusp of a new iPhone coming out. But you know, if I stayed in the Apple ecosystem, then I probably would have had to buy a new Apple Watch as well in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another sort of 300, 400 quid. Talking up nearer to £1,000 at this point, if I had stayed in the Apple ecosystem. If your devices are perfectly acceptable and you don't need to upgrade, the most economic thing you can do in this cost of living crisis that we're in is to just stick. Don't do anything. But, you know, if you do need to upgrade, then it's definitely, and you're in the iOS ecosystem, it's definitely worth not feeling that need to stay within it.
See if the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah. I mean, there are loads of things now that I'm remembering about being in Android that gives you so much freedom, even to the point where I could shop around for watches. It's obviously better to, exactly. You can buy a Galaxy Watch if you want. Of course, everything you buy within the same manufacturer tends to work that bit better. Yeah. But I could have gone for a TicWatch, I could have gone for the Pixel Watch. You have options, and that's just what's really nice about the Android ecosystem.
It's something that is missing from Apple, that's for sure, because once you're in that bubble, it's very difficult to get out.
And definitely. I mean, if price isn't a factor, then iOS still has that simplicity. Yeah. But for, you know, more technical people like you and I, then, you know, you just have that more tweakability and options within the Android ecosystem. Choice is just the main thing. One of I think both of our complaints about Samsung is we're not a big fan of their sort of launcher. And
I don't like One UI.
Exactly.
I don't like it.
I mean, when I got my new phone, I sort of booted up and I straight away was just like, oh, now I kind of remember why I wasn't a fan of this. But then you can just change it. You can't do that with iOS. You're stuck with that. Yeah. So it's just basically anything you don't like, you can change.
Yeah, there's something I hadn't considered myself. Now I'm questioning everything because I was in exactly the same position as you.
Exactly, which I don't, want to make anyone go out there and sort of buy all new devices again. As we just said, if you don't actually need it because of, people are struggling out there, don't go just doing that. But, if you are having to upgrade, like I said, have a look across the other side and see whether that grass is greener.
Yeah. So are you an iPhone user? Are you considering switching to the other side? Is this something you've been looking at for a while? Let us know. And be sure to ask this guy some questions. He's just been through it. So leave some comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe. And until next time,